Stay tuned for the Splash Live. It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh. Earlier this week, West Bloomfield paused for the National Day of Prayer. Originally, the gathering was planned to take place outside at the Civic Center flagpole, but weather brought the interfaith service of solidarity into Town Hall. I was actually on location to see how faith and community leaders united in prayer. I'm here outside the West Bloomfield Township Town Hall, where residents, clergy, and local officials joined together for Meet Me at the Flagpole, observing National Day of Prayer with a brief interfaith service. I stepped inside to talk to some of the patrons to find out why this event is so important for Greater West Bloomfield.
So I was honored to be one of the organizers that put together this first inaugural Meet Me at the Flagpole. Obviously, we're not outside today, but this gives us an excellent opportunity to bring the community together during a time when we recognize there's a lot of division in the community, and we want to find a space for solidarity, for a common voice, and to know that we are one community that can be strengthened together.
I think that with so much division in our country right now, it's really important to come together across all differences, and we have such a rich religious difference in West Bloomfield that it just felt right to take part in this today.
Hosted by the Greater West Bloomfield Faith and Community Alliance and the West Bloomfield Township Police Department, this marks one of the few times the police department sets aside duty to stand with residents in prayer and reflection.
Because we come from a very diverse, culturally diverse community that has a rich tapestry of different faith traditions. This is an opportunity for us to come together as a community and reflect on what makes us so special. Attendees
offered prayers for unity, peace, and guidance for elected and civic leaders and residents of the community.
I think prayer really helps us remember that despite differences of religion, we are all seeking the same thing in a lot of ways. We're all seeking guidance and strength and comfort from the divine, whether we call that God or something else. And I think when we remember we are united in our wants and our desires for this world and for our lives, then we get to see each other more as neighbors, and that strengthens our community.
You know, we're truly a diverse community, and it's great to see ways that all of our voices can be shared in a public forum, knowing that we are one community with one voice and can really hear one another truly.
People of all ages and backgrounds were drawn by a shared desire to lift up community and leadership in a moment of gratitude and hope.
I'm hopeful that our prayers can be heard and that we can recognize that we all share an aspiration to bring our community forward and be more welcoming as a result of finding connection here today.
We are far better when we work together than to have any type of issues divide us.
As the final prayers echoed here at Town Hall, the Meet Me at the Flagpole event has underscored West Bloomfield's commitment to unity and compassion. From every corner of our community, voices joined together in a single hope for peace, leadership, and shared purpose. From the West Bloomfield Township Town Hall, I'm Kevin McIntosh, Civic Center TV. A powerful display of faith and fellowship right here in West Bloomfield. For more information on National Day of Prayer service right here in West Bloomfield and future community events, just go directly to our website, civiccentertv.com, for more information. Spirit of Grace Church in West Bloomfield was established in 2015, and it will commemorate its 10th anniversary on Tuesday, May 6th, with a worship service at 6:30 p.m., followed by a reception with light refreshments. I like that right there. We spoke to Spirit of Grace's church pastor, Joyce Partika-Stibe, who told us how the church has evolved over the decade and their vision for the next decade. Pastor Joyce Partika-Stibe, thank you so much for being here, Pastor.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate that. Congratulations on 10 years, a decade, right here in West Bloomfield. Let's just talk about that first and foremost. How has Spirit of Grace evolved over the past decade?
So Spirit of Grace is a Lutheran Episcopal community. So when it first formed, it was 2 Lutheran congregations, Sylvan Lake Lutheran, and that's the building that it still resides in today. And then Ascension Lutheran came over, and then Advent Episcopal Church was worshiping in the space, and they decided to have worship together over one summer. And they really loved worshiping together, and so they decided to be one community. So really, it's been about combining and finding out who we are as a Lutheran Episcopal community.
Beautiful, beautiful. And that speaks highly of the collaboration too. And like we were just saying, Spirit of Grace stands as a model for interdenominational collaboration, showing how shared faith and mutual respect can bridge traditional divides. And like I said, with me right here live on The Splash from Spirit of Grace, Pastor Joyce Partika-Stibe, also being joined by Senior Warden Josie Baldwin. Thank you both for being here again. And just continuing on with you, Pastor, what milestones stand out most vividly to you as a pastor?
So I've only been with the congregation for 2 years now, so Josie can actually speak better to that.
Perfect. Yes, Josie, please.
So milestones for our little church in West Bloomfield would be how big our small church is in the community. We are so involved in food ministries, whether it's through our diabetic food pantry, our blessing box, our Christmas dinners. We do it all. So it's a big task, and we manage to make it all work.
Okay. It sounds beautiful. And I've heard about some of the food ministries as well. Love to hear about it. So continuing on with you, Josie, in what ways does the church involve young people in its mission and activities?
Sure. So our parking lot is a school of choice parking lot. And so the West Bloomfield School District uses it for kids that are coming in to go to school. And the buses come there, and we have over 300 students come to our church every day for bus pickup. We utilize that time to engage them in activities. We give them treats, let them know what's going on in the church. We are an elderly church, but we try to get the kids involved in everything that we have to offer. We also work with the schools, West Bloomfield schools, for food drives, so the kids are involved in helping us with that. And then we have some young members at the church that are going through confirmation classes, and it's multi-generational at our church. Everybody's a kid at heart, right. And we all work together.
Love that. And that's what it's supposed to be, working together for the bigger picture, collaborating, blending together, and just doing great things for the greater good. We love to hear that.
Absolutely.
Now, Pastor, reaching back to you, just curious, you mentioned the blending of 2 denominations or 2 traditions, if I'm understanding that. What challenges and or successes have arisen from blending these true traditions within a single congregation?
I think the joy of blending these two traditions into a service and into a community is that each community brings a special thing. So some of the challenges have been that each community does things differently, but it's also given us a great opportunity to talk about how we see God working through our community, through our congregation members, and through the people who enter the doors of the church, because quite frankly, not everybody who participates in things is a member of the congregation. And so we've really been able to talk about how God shows up and how God is present in what is happening. And I think that has been both the biggest challenge and the biggest joy about it, is we get to talk about what it's like for us. And we get to have those conversations about how God is showing up and in what ways we want to express that through what we do.
One thing I want you to speak on, just continuing with you real quick, Pastor. I'm aware of some of the things that you all do, but one thing that I love is when a church is actually doing things that impacts and affects the community in a positive way. So can you share examples of how Spirit of Grace's community service initiatives, some of the food ministries and things that you all do, have addressed local needs?
So we have a stretch and tone class that meets on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and that brings people from the community just to get a little bit of exercise. Most of it is chair oriented, and so people are able to do that. And I think what that does is that brings a sense of community to people. It gathers people in a way that other things don't. And I think it gives people a chance just to get that exercise that they're looking for in a comfortable way. We have quilters that meet in our church once a week.
Yep.
Last year, they donated, I think it was like 150, 160 quilts, and those went all over the world to places that needed them. And I will say most of those people who do that are not members of the church, and so anyone is welcome to that. Our diabetic food pantry is on the third Saturday of every month, and we have several volunteers who come to that. Again, not all who are members of Spirit of Grace. And what I really love about that opportunity is we've had Girl Scout troops come. We've had sports communities come who are looking for service projects hours. We've had high school students who are looking for service project hours. And so that's really been something that has not only gathered the community to volunteer, but has also fed people. We have a blessing box that is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You don't even have to come into the church building to get it. And really what that is we rely on a lot of donations, but there are also some people who just drop off food because that's a place to drop it off. And so again, we've had high school students, and even my son, who is 4 years old, helps stock that on a semi-regular basis. And so that's really a way that we've met that need, not only for volunteering, but also for feeding the community. And we have Girl Scout troops that meet there. AA meets at the congregation. Al-Anon, and I believe Alateen has started to meet there as well. So really, this is a community building that we want the community to use.
Beautiful. First and foremost, I love that you hit on all the things that we've spoke on in previous interviews, and I wanted the community to know that in its full scope, that you all do a lot right here in the community, with a lot considered for the different residents and their needs. So I appreciate you for doing that and explaining that. With me right here live on the Splash, by the way, from Spirit of Grace Church, Pastor Joyce Party-Castide and Senior Warden Josie Baldwin, talking about the 10-year anniversary celebration in May of 2025. Now, Josie, going to you real quick, I have to ask you, in what ways do you plan to honor the founders and early members of those who made this vision of Spirit of Grace possible?
It's a good question. And when I was thinking about it, I had to go back and think there's still a lot of founders that participate and are members of the church. Some have moved away. Unfortunately, some have passed. But I think that we will honor them in the celebration coming up in a couple weeks by just remembering the work that we did to bring all three churches together, and continue to do that and constantly invite them back to come and see us, those that have moved away and whatnot. So we will continue to honor those founders.
Yes, good and well said as well. And we don't want to hold you all up too much longer. We appreciate your time. But one last question I want both of you to kind of answer, starting with you, Josie, if you don't mind. As you celebrate this 10th anniversary, 10 years, a decade, what hopes and aspirations do you have for Spirit of Grace's next decade of ministry?
Again, thinking about that question, I am looking forward to the next 10 years so that we can continue to to bring to the community all that they need and whatever that is and how we can make it work for them, whether it's food or a place to have a meeting, whatever that may look like. I'm looking forward to Spirit of Grace being able to be that place.
Perfect. And you, Pastor?
I think for me, church anniversaries are a lot like driving. We have to know where we've been and what we've been through to understand where we're going. And I think the first and foremost thing is to be rooted into the love of God that we have been given and that we so much want to share with a world who seems to need it so badly. And so I'm looking forward to just continuing to use the gifts and talents that each of the congregation members and community members bring to this space to move us forward into what will hopefully be the next 10 years.
That was beautifully said. You see how the pastor couldn't leave us without dropping some bars. The church is like the car, and knowing where. I can't say it like you said it, Pastor. That's why we love to have you. We want to thank you both so much, and congratulations again on 10 years in the community. Once again, Spirit of Grace Church Pastor Joyce Party-Kastive and Senior Warden Josie Ballman. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
A great time to celebrate a decade of service right here in the Greater West Bloomfield community. For more information on their celebration, you can visit them on Facebook at Spirit of Grace, or you can go directly to their website as well, spiritofgrace.church. Greater West Bloomfield honor its kids for their service to their school and community at the 2025 Youth Recognition Awards with West Bloomfield Youth Assistants. Among the winners was the first student recipient of the Rachel Akezian Scholarship, Matilda Edverson, who was recognized for WB Has Heart's accomplishments, inspiring cardiac arrest awareness and student heart health checks. Matilda had a chance to speak on her team's accomplishments recently at the Youth Recognition Awards as she accepted the scholarship.
During school lunches, students received hands-on CPR training from professionals and learned how to respond to cardiac emergencies. This event equipped 300 West Bloomfield High School students with life-saving CPR skills and raised awareness about emergency response. On February 1st, 2025, we partnered with Beaumont to host a free student heart check event for students ages 13 to 18 at our high school. This was held on National Youth Heart Screening Day. There are 12 cardiologists, 85 medical professionals and volunteers, and 22 stations that we set up like a field hospital in our gym to conduct electrocardiograms, echocardiograms, blood pressure checks, and physical examinations as a simple, non-invasive procedure. We also had CPR training and emotional support dogs present. We had 350 students join, 26 were flagged as needing to follow up with a doctor, and 4 were told to stop sports immediately. That's a possible 4 lives saved.
Great information. Great speech, by the way. And other students like Roheen Sherrow told us how it felt for students like himself to be recognized for their service.
I was very honored. I think it's a very cool thing they do here. I think it's a really awesome award. I was very proud of it. It really makes me proud of everything I've done for volunteering and everything I've done for Friendship Circle in the past.
And it's not always an easy ask for kids to make the effort to get involved in their community. Roheen Sherrow told us why he believes kids should make the effort. And Sonia James from the West Bloomfield School District explained how these kids taking the initiative is inspiring their peers.
I think it can make you happy overall. I think happiness is a big thing for anyone. And I originally started out volunteering for volunteer hours for my brother and stuff. But it's very quickly grew to just happiness in my heart. You know, I was very proud to go there. It made me very happy to help these kids out and just keep going back every year after year.
I think it's a huge inspiration because, again, I look at Matilda and her 2 friends that are actually a part of WB Has Heart and how that has inspired some of the other students at the high school. And then thinking about how our middle schoolers can look up to what the high schoolers are doing, and then to hear or even to see the elementary students be excited to buy the t-shirts because they want to be a part of that now. So I think whatever little things that we begin to do, plant those seeds, it helps inspires a whole generation of students.
These leaders showed through their volunteer work and their accomplishments how volunteering at a young age can have a lasting impact and beyond West Bloomfield schools?
I think it's giving back to my community. I think that West Bloomfield as a whole has done a lot for me as I've grown up. I was born and raised here, so giving back to the community, helping out other kids who might be underprivileged, who don't have some of the stuff that I might have. I think it's really nice of me to go out there and do stuff for them.
It's a part of our fabric here in West Bloomfield that we are weaving into our day-to-day lives for our experiences of our students.
And we will have more coverage of the Youth Assistance Awards on our website, so you can stay tuned right there. Go directly to civiccentertv.com for more information as we upload that content. An electronics and shredding collection event is being hosted for residents of West Bloomfield, Kego Harbor, Orchard Lake, and Sylvan Lake. The event will take place at the West Bloomfield Civic Center complex located at 4550 Walnut Lake Road. The main household hazardous waste electronics drop-off is scheduled for tomorrow, Saturday, May 3rd, 2025, from 9 to 12 noon. A special senior drop-off night, however, will occur tonight. That's Friday, May 2nd, from 4 to 6 p.m. Additionally, a shredding drop-off will be held on Friday, May 23rd, from 4 to 7 p.m. Please note, commercial or business waste is strictly prohibited, and participants are urged not to arrive early because there will be a lot of traffic anyway. So keep that in mind, and we'll continuously keep you updated on the upcoming shredding day as well. Heads up, Greater West Bloomfield drivers, this is just a reminder. Indian Trail Road will be closed to all through traffic this Saturday, May 3rd, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. for a special event at Orchard Lake St. Mary's Prep. Barricades will be set up at Orchard Lake, Seminary, and Commerce Roads. Residents on Indian Trail will still have access to their homes, however. You can take Orchard Lake Road or Seminary Road, but there will be no through traffic between Commerce and Seminary. So regatta participants must enter from Commerce, while spectators can access parking via Seminary. Now plan ahead, and please, if you can, take alternative routes and bring your patients with you as well. This week, students had the opportunity to thank the medical professionals at Henry Ford Hospital, West Bloomfield, where they shadowed doctors and specialists along with 10 field trip experiences. Students also received valuable training on HIPAA and blood-borne pathogens. A special thank you goes out to West Bloomfield School District alum, Regional Chief Medical Officer Manu Malhotra, who addressed the students, praising them for the energy that they brought to the hospital. Also, Dr. Winfred Allen highlighted the importance of the program in helping students explore various medical fields, calling West Bloomfield's program one of the best he's ever seen. A big thank you to Lisa Zanotti Urich for making these real-world experiences possible. Greater West Bloomfield will be celebrating the grand opening of another business in our community. Gray's Craze Orchard Lake be focusing on creative charcuterie boards, boxes, and grazing tables. And I'm actually right now being joined by the owner of Gray's Craze, Christian Ayar, telling us more about the business. Thank you for being here, Christian.
Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm doing just well. Thank you for asking, first and foremost. Now let's get into the inspiration. What made you want to bring Gray's Craze right here to our community?
Well, it kind of started off with my wife and I falling in love with creating charcuterie boards and doing this during COVID. It was just a hobby that her and I kind of picked up, and it was just a love for charcuterie that we developed over the years, hosting people, bringing families together, bringing our family together. And when there was a business opportunity that it was something that her and I can share together, we jumped on it and decided to open one right down the street from our house.
Nice. Okay, so I want to kind of go back a little bit and start with the basics as well. For the people who may not necessarily know what a charcuterie board is or charcuterie is, please explain that.
So it's an assortment of meats, cheeses, vegetables. You can have desserts on there. It's a little bit of everything, you know, and you can have it as an appetizer. You can have it as a meal. You can use it for events. corporate events, corporate lunches.
Yeah.
It's such a versatile, it's such a versatile thing that you can have for just about anything. And the thing that I love about it the most is it appeals to everybody. If you have certain dietary restrictions, and then you can pick based off of what your restrictions are. If you're a vegetarian, then you just pick at the vegetables and the fruits and the nuts. If you want to try different kinds of meats and cheeses, then they're there and they're available. So.
No, that's exactly what I like, because I've seen charcuterie boards at different social events over time, and I'm one of those picky eaters. I don't like to eat necessarily everything, but that board has something for everyone. I'll pick out some cheese, some grapes and stuff here, some nuts here and there, then let other people try the ham or different things like that. And I love it. It's a great social thing as well. So I want you to take this opportunity to tell us, what makes Gray's Craze different from other charcuterie businesses and other catering options in our area?
So we're family owned and operated. My wife and I have lived down the street for a while, but what sets us apart is just, like I said, the versatility of being able to have different options, and being able to feed the masses. We have our large board can feed up to 25 people. And also we do deliver. And it's just the convenience of just not having to shop at different places to locate all these different high-end meats and cheeses and fruits and vegetables. We have it all at one location. We can put it together for you. We can assort it in a way where it looks beautiful and is appealing to the eye. And we'll just be the star of the show at any event.
I got so much more I want to break down and ask you, Christian. I'm so glad I have you here. With me right here, live on The Splash, by the way, owner of new business opening up very, very soon, Gray's Craze in Orchard Lake, Christian IR, talking about the business, what got them started, and why they brought it here. Now, from my understanding, it's not just a board. You're not just throwing food on there. It's an art as well. Can you just talk about your approach to customizing the charcuterie boards and making it an aesthetically appealing snack as well?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It all comes down to the art of it. So anybody can just throw some meat and cheese and some ingredients on a board, right? But being able to make it visually appealing to the eye, with the colors and just kind of assorting it based on, it also comes back to what the customer wants and what they want on their board. But we can assort it in a way where it looks beautiful. We have special ways of cutting our fruits and our vegetables to make different shapes and just kind of make it a piece of art that you can eat.
I know, right? I love things that I can eat. Art, food, whatever. As long as I can eat it, I'm cool with that. I love that, though, because, like I said, it makes people want to just soak it in before they even eat it. Some people want to take pictures of it before they even, start to devour it. So I understand that, too. It's something that they appreciate. Now, let's get into what we're actually here for. The grand opening, Christian. What can attendees expect from the grand opening celebration on May 5th?
So on May 5th at 3 o'clock, all are welcome to come in. We're going to be hosting. We're going to have refreshments. Come by and try some of our food. We'll have an assortment of all different products that we provide. You could take a tour of the kitchen and just kind of check the place out. We'll have a ribbon cutting at 4 o'clock. And we'll also have a raffle. The cool thing about the raffle is there'll be 2 prizes. We'll be giving away a charcuterie board up to $195 value, and the main prize will be giving away a Shinola watch. So if you come on by, bring your business cards and enter the raffle.
Yes, man. Yes. All right. So I want to ask about your feedback so far from the community. What has the response from the community been? I know exactly where you're located, right on Orchard Lake Road, just south of Pontiac Trail Road in the plaza. So I see the sign right there. You would think that you were open. I would imagine people come by, ask questions. Talk about the response from the community.
The response has been great. Everyone's been extremely supportive and happy to see. People have come by just to kind of check the store out, see what we're about, because there isn't really anything like this anywhere else in this area,
Right.
So when people see this type of business pop up, they get curious. They like to see what we have, what our food options are, and what they're able to do. Especially now with just kind of the party season with graduations and things like that coming about. Yeah. We've been getting a lot of inquiries about that and people asking questions. And with the people that we have provided food for, they've been super supportive, very happy, and they love the product.
Love that, man. Love that. With me right here live on The Splash, by the way, owner of Gray's Craze, new business right here in Orchard Lake. A Christian IR talking about the business, charcuterie as an art as well, and their plans for the grand opening. Just a few more questions real quick. First and foremost, any message that you want to get out and share with the Orchard Lake or Greater West Bloomfield community as you launch your business?
Please consider us for your events. Consider us, it's a family business. My wife and I are doing this together, and we just our goal of this is just to bring families together, just
right.
to bring people together, bring something that everyone can enjoy, and just be a part of your the lives and the celebrations.
There it is. There it is. Just like you said. And lastly, please give out the details of your grand opening one more time.
Yeah, our grand opening, again, is going to be on Monday, May 5th. It'll start at 3 o'clock. All are welcome. And please remember to bring your business cards to be able to enter our raffle. There'll be food and refreshments, and it'll just be a good time.
Of course. Looking for great energy and a great time to network with local business owners as well. Once again, owner of Gray's Craze in Orchard Lake, Christian IR, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Per usual. Love to see it and love to see entrepreneurs, business owners opening new business, providing jobs and new opportunities for others right here. We love to see it. We'll continuously keep you updated with that grand opening as well. We have more things going on in Greater West Bloomfield, including reasons for you to get out of the house. We'll discuss that coming up. We are live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. This is Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. On cable and the radio. On the web too, and on social media. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. 2 milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on civiccentertv.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at civiccentertv.com and click schedule at the top of the screen.
So much is happening in your community. Join Jake, Tyler, and Kevin for local events and developments on The Splash Live, weekdays at 10 a.m. on civiccentertv.com, YouTube, and Facebook.
And now, back to The Splash Live.
Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you for joining me. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh. Apple Island Tours returns the second weekend in June, hosted by the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society. They are looking for the community to come get involved and make it a great time as well. Joining me live on The Splash is Museum and Communications Assistant from the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society, Anna Smith. Thank you for being here, Anna.
Good morning, Kevin.
I'm doing just great having you here. Happy to have you here first and foremost. Now, for the people who may have never been to or possibly never heard of Apple Island, can you give the brief history behind Apple Island and why it has such significance here in West Bloomfield?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good place to start. So if we take it back to the very beginning, the island was formed probably 10 to 12,000 years ago during the last glacial period in Michigan. It's actually very unique to have an island as big as Apple Island in a lake the size of Orchard Lake. So It's about 35 to 37 acres, which is a rather large island for a lake, and it is a special place. We have evidence suggesting that humans have either lived on or visited Apple Island for at least 2,000 years. Yes, it has great cultural and spiritual significance to Native peoples. It has for a long time, and even continuing onward after the Treaty of 1807, when the government purchased land around here, the island continued to go through many hands of ownership, and there have been many families who spent time on the island back after settlers came to the area. And even then, the stories and the sort of importance of the island and the romanticism around the islands and the stories they continue on, and even into the present now we continue to learn and share the stories and history of the island during Apple Island tours. It's a great, unique experience that we get to bring to the community.
Woo! Seems like that's a lot that's going on and has happened right there in that island. Man, that 2,000 plus years, 10,000, wow, okay, that's a lot. So that means it's a lot to break down, it's a lot to experience. So you just explain what people can expect from this year's tours. Are there anything new stories, exhibits, elements?
Yeah, absolutely. That's also a great question. I'm kind of excited to share with everyone that we're sort of in the process of going through the information that we share with the community, and we're always looking at it every year and trying to improve it and add new information that we can share with guests. So even if you came to the tours last year in 2024, it was our first time holding them since 2019. It was sort of a test run with all of the new changes that have come in this area and to the program. But even if you came last year, you can expect something new and different and exciting for this year.
Good. Because I was asking that question for the people who are familiar. Talking about people who may not be, but for the people who may have visited, they're like, okay, I've seen it. What more can you add to it? How can it be a little bit more interesting? And with the new elements, new features, and exhibits, I love to hear that. This is keeping people interest going, because there has to be so much history there to uncover, going back, like you said, hundreds, thousands of years. It is definitely a lot to share and talk about. With me right here live on The Splash, by the way, from the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society Museum and Communications Assistant, Anna Smith, talking about the upcoming Apple Island tour. So just kind of continuously going into that, we're dealing with woods and trees, and there's a lot of elements that's going on here, but how are you ensuring that the tour is both educational and engaging, but also safe for a wide audience?
Yeah, absolutely. So we stick to a drawn out and planned path. The school district does a great job maintaining the trails on the island, but we do ask people, and we'll make sure to put this out to everyone who's interested in coming, but make sure you are bringing your bug spray. Our docents and volunteers will also have bug spray for you. We have plans in place in case the mosquitoes on the island are particularly bad this year, which it feels like last year we had a lot of guests saying that the mosquitoes weren't bad. So we're going to hope that trend continues, but make sure you wear your bug spray.
Yes.
The thing about an island on a lake is it's about 10 degrees colder than the mainland. So even though we're in the middle of June, you might want to put on a few layers that you can either take off or wear just in case it gets a little chilly for you out there. And we also ask that you wear closed-toed, good walking shoes. It is like you're taking a hike out there, even if you are on a trail. So that's definitely going to be important to keep people safe. And last and probably most important is try not to stray from the trail. There is poison ivy out there on the island, and we don't want anyone coming back with that. Yeah, it would not be a great experience to cap off your tour.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad you explained that all. To me, I'm gonna be honest, it just tells me wear long sleeves, pants, and boots, just to kind of cover all those bases right there. But what you just said made me think of something else. Any animals, insects, unique animals or insects, or just general, on this island that we could expect to see?
Yeah, to be honest, you never really know what you might see. There's some great nature out there. There are over 400 plant species on the island alone, and it represents all of Michigan's 4 biomes in one place. So really, you could get a lot of anything, but we get a lot of exciting stories. I actually got a call at the museum a few months ago back when the lake was still frozen over from a mother and her child who saw something out on the lake near the island, and they were trying to figure out what it was. And you know, if you're not there, it's hard to tell, but we've seen coyotes, we've seen foxes out near the island. Last year, one of our volunteers actually saw a deer on the island, which is really cool because that means the deer took the time and actually swam out to the island. Yeah, that's right. So it's exciting. And yeah, there's a lot of great features on the island itself. One that we always highlight on the tour is some of the trees that are out on the island. I mean, we have a 250, 300-year-old maple tree, and she's lovingly referred to as Grandmother Maple. So
there you go.
There's great things to see out there for sure. The nature is one of the big draws of the island. It's very, it feels like nowadays there are less and less places where you truly feel like you're sort of isolated and experiencing nature as it was meant to be. So Apple Island is definitely the place to do that.
And I can tell you really appreciate that too, with that being said, Anna. And I just recently got to experience something similar to that. I want to thank Carol Fink also, who just recently took me out to the Orchard Lake Nature Sanctuary, took a tour for the first time. We talked about Apple Island as well, but we got to connect. And she's one that really appreciates nature as well and soaks it in. So I love being with you all who are very knowledgeable, who loves the island, who loves the nature sanctuary, and are here to preserve it and also share that knowledge with others. So I appreciate that. One thing that we didn't talk about before I let you go, I want you to also explain the who, what, where, when, and why of the Apple Island tours, the dates and things of that nature.
Yeah, absolutely. So this year, the tours are going to be held the second weekend in June. That's going to be June 14th and 15th. We're going to start the tours around 10 a.m. and you can be out on the island till 5 p.m. So realistically, whenever you go out, you can stay. You just got to be on the last boat back. So that's the nice thing about the tours, is that it's a completely individual experience. We have our very talented and knowledgeable docents and volunteers and presenters out on the island who are there to give you all of the information that you need. But ultimately, it's up to you how much time you want to spend out on the island. And of course, we have the Orchard Lake Museum open here as well. There will be tons of activities. We'll have snacks for sale. We'll have games. The museum will be open, so you can come in, check out our exhibits. Yep. So really, there's just a ton to do. It's like a whole day of fun, and you know, you can bring the entire family, take a tour, and then spend time at the museum.
That is so cool. I would love to come visit, Anna, but once you said coyotes and foxes, I don't know about that. We had to talk about that, think about a plan behind it, but I'm pretty sure it's safe. I'm just being funny right now. But thank you so much again for your time, and thank you for going out there and doing this. Once again, from the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society, Museum and Communications Assistant, Anna Smith. Thank you again.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin.
Oh, yes, we love this, love this. Good reasons for you to get outside and enjoy the nature that we have right here in Greater West Bloomfield. Second week of June. We'll continuously keep you updated regarding opportunities like that. Big names and big celebrations throughout Greater West Bloomfield. Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter recently announced this year's Oakland Together 40 Under 40, a diverse and passionate group of individuals making a positive change throughout Oakland County. We actually have one of the nominees joining us right now on the Splash Live to talk about his nomination. We have Nate Fink of Fink Bressac. Thank you for being here, Nate.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so sorry if I pronounced the name wrong. Is it Fink Bressac? Did I say that right? I want to make sure I say that right.
That's right. No,
Okay,
right.
Look at me, landing in first try. All right, well, let me just start off by saying congratulations on your nomination. Big congratulations there. How did you find out about being named Oakland County's 40 Under 40?
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate you having me on. I found out about it. I got a note from the county executive's assistant, and then was told they were going to be broadcasting the announcement on Facebook the next day.
Yeah.
And was very excited to hear about it. It's a great honor.
Yes, it is. I would imagine, man. I'm so happy for you. I feel like we're family, and I feel like I feel like I'm celebrating with you, man. This is just one of those things that I know a lot of people have on their bucket list to achieve. Now, what do you believe personally contributed most to this recognition at this point in your career?
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, and it really is a great honor.
Yeah.
I appreciate the county executive and the committee providing me this award. My roots are deep in Oakland County, particularly West Bloomfield. I was born and raised in West Bloomfield. I went to Andover High School, or formerly known as Andover High School. I now have 4 kids who live in West Bloomfield with me and my wife, and go to Bloomfield schools in West Bloomfield, and we still live here. And I've cared a lot about the community since I was a kid. I've gone on to become an attorney and have been very passionate about advocating on behalf of people who are perhaps in need and unable to get the legal representation that they might otherwise get. Good. We do a lot of different types of work, including class action work. We do municipal work. I've currently the representation just concluded, but we represented the new Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission.
Okay.
And did a lot of work related to protecting and defending their work. And I just care a lot about the community, and I think that the committee and the county executive saw that.
Nice, man. So I would imagine that you saw some of the other nominees as well as I did. Now, when you look at that list of other people in our Oakland County community who were nominated, how does it feel to be honored alongside such a dynamic and diverse group of leaders across the county?
Yeah, it's humbling. I mean, it's just an outstanding group. I think we're going to have an opportunity to get together, I believe, next month. And it'll be great to meet these folks. I know a couple of them, but most of them I've never met. But just seeing this list, it's just incredible. And we're so lucky to live in this community with so many wonderful, just outstanding leaders. Across, as you had indicated, just a diverse group, just a wide spectrum, different ethnic backgrounds, racial backgrounds, but also just different professional pursuits. It's really just, like I said, it's humbling to be just included within that group.
And with me right here live on The Splash, by the way, Oakland County 40 Under 40 nominee Nate Fink from Fink Bressack, just talking about his nomination and his experiences and growing up right here in our Greater West Bloomfield area. Now, I just want to ask you, different people were nominated for different reasons. There are different experiences and things like that. But what values or experiences have shaped your leadership style and approach to community engagement?
Sure. So, like I said, I grew up in West Bloomfield, and I come from a sort of political family. My father, David, had actually ran for Congress quite a few years ago now, 2002, in our community, and I've had very deep interest in politics and community since I was very young. Going to political events, fundraisers, and the like. Doing knocking doors. I was a campaign manager for now Oakland County Clerk Lisa Brown, but when she ran for state rep back in 2006, and have been very engaged in politics. I was involved in class president back at Andover High School. Now 20 years ago, we just had our 20-year reunion.
Congratulations.
I was also involved in college. I went to University of Michigan for undergrad, and have just learned through all of that experience how important it is to try to always stay engaged with your community and give back as much as you possibly can.
Yeah. And with that being said, I wanna kind of dive into that a little bit more. I want to speak on the fact that we do a lot of celebrating and highlighting local athletes, went to West Bloomfield High School, go on to the next level and go on to the professional level, being drafted. We just talked about a few of them then. But I also want to consider yourself another hometown hero, someone born in, or not necessarily born, but raised right here in West Bloomfield and give back and now being recognized. So I want to consider you a hometown hero. And with that being said, a lot of the work that you've done, what are some initiatives or products that you're most proud of being part of?
I appreciate that. I don't. As you noted, we've had some wonderful athletes that have come out of the community. I'm certainly not one of them, but I think I'm most proud of the fact that you indicated I wasn't born. I was here. I was born in Royal Oak at Beaumont, and then but literally moved to West Bloomfield probably when I was 3 or 4 days old, and have lived here. Except for when I went to Michigan for undergrad in Ann Arbor, I've lived here my whole life, so it's just been a wonderful place to live. And in terms of the things that I'm most proud of, I think it's that I'm still here in this community. We have our family that, like I said, my wife and 4 children. We live in West Bloomfield, and we love the community. And I think I'm most proud that we've have been able to establish these deep roots for all of our, for my family, to continue to hopefully prosper here. In terms of some of the sort of professional success, as I indicated, I represent the Redistricting Commission, which is very proud to do that. We also represented the city of Detroit in a lot of election-related litigation, primarily that came out of the 2020 election, where there were some forces that were challenging the legitimacy of the election, and we very proudly represented the city of Detroit to fight off a lot of those challenges. And I think we're probably perhaps some of the most successful in that litigation. I'm just very proud to be a part of that.
Good work, man. Hey, I'm like I said before, man, I'm so proud of you myself to just be recognized. This as someone who aspires to get this type of recognition myself. And others, I'm very, very excited for that. And with that being said, just landing your plane here, what advice would you offer to other young professionals like myself and others in the community looking to make a meaningful impact in their communities?
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate the kind words. I think you should just always stay community focused and think about what you can do. Reflect on what your own skills, your talents are, and think about how you can continue to give back and serve your community, investing in yourself, but also investing in the community, and always keeping a broader, bigger picture perspective on life.
Love that. Well said. Thank you so much again, sir. And with us right here live again, we want to thank you for being with us. Oakland County 40 Under 40 nominee, Nate Fink from Fink Bressac. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Definitely an honor to have you here as well. Great honor to have a nominee. Hopefully we can reach out to some other nominees and have them on the show as well. We'll continuously keep you updated. Tree Runner Park West Bloomfield is officially open for the season, featuring a series of aerial rope courses with over 80 elements spread across multiple trees. It's a great place for physical activity and team building. We recently spoke with Tree Runner West Bloomfield's Assistant General Manager, Luke Weller, to tell us more about what's expected at the park this season. Luke Weller, thank you for being here.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Appreciate you. So let's start off by talking about the park from a perspective of someone who's never been there. Can you walk us through the design process for the courses and zip lines?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you haven't ever been to, we call ourselves an adventure park. It's kind of like, my simplest explanation for it is an obstacle course, but in the trees. So you're way up in the air. You have a bunch of tunnels that you can crawl through, a bunch of tight ropes that you can walk across. And the way that it works is we get you in a harness when you get there. And you have these 2 really, really cool clips that you climb with the entire time. And what's so cool about them is that they never, ever let go, the entire time you're climbing. So you know that you're all wrapped in while you're up there. You're all secure, so you can hop across things. You can take different challenges. You can do whatever you like up there, and you're always attached, is what we say. So that's kind of how it works. Doesn't matter how high you are, you're fully attached.
Oh, my goodness. I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, you say an obstacle course, but in the trees. And I'm just thinking dangerous immediately. So how do you balance this thrill with safety at the same time?
Well, I mean, it's not dangerous at all, really, because you're always attached, like kind of what I said. So I mean, you're high up in the air, but you have just like the distance of your clips is like as far as you're ever going to get from that zip line, or as far as you're ever going to get from that tree there. So there's not very far you actually can go. It feels like you're really high in the air, but and I guess you are really high in the air, but you're not going to go anywhere at all.
Okay. And I know that you all provide safety classes in regards to it as well, safety training. So just wanted to paint that as the context as well. So we talked about it from the perspective of people who may have never been there. For the people who've been there, what new features or programs can Greater West Bloomfield visitors look forward to this current season?
That's a really good question. So I think the biggest thing that we're currently working on is we're completely revamping our mini golf, which is something else that we do have. We have more than just climbing. We have our mini golf there. We have something called gem mining too, which is like a bunch of rocks that you get from underneath like a little water path. You can wash away the dirt and find a bunch of cool rocks. But back to the mini golf, we're completely revamping it this year. So it's getting like a lot bigger. It's going all the way from the front to the back of the park, and all the courses are longer. So that's something we're currently working on. We're hoping to have it open by the summer. I think that's like I'm most excited for, at least, quite honestly. If you've been here in the past, though, we have added a few zip lines to a handful of our courses, so they're kind of hitting out there. Cool. But we do have some more zip lines that you can do. But there's a whole zip escape too, actually, that we added onto one of our harder courses. So if you're like halfway through that one, you're like, I don't know if I want to continue doing this one, you can take like 5 zip lines all the way to the ground. So a ton of new ones there. And if you haven't been here last season, we have a couple new things from then. We have a whole zip course that you can do. So that goes way from the front all the way to the back of the park. A ton of very long zip lines, very fast ones there. And we have a bunch of new, like, smaller courses to the ground. So if you're just starting off, we have some new purple courses that you can do. Those are really close to the ground, a nice way to step in if you haven't really done this too often. And for our super duper young climbers, we have a junior park. So it's all like little mini zip lines, super designed young for young kids. And we have a new one of those too. So that was, so far in the past year, been very, very loved by a lot of the guests that come in. They say that they really like it. It's called Rainbow Road.
Nice. All right. And I love that you have it for all ages. Like we said, skill levels and things of that nature. It makes the park that much volatile and welcoming as well. And joining me right here again from Tree Runner Park, West Bloomfield, Assistant General Manager Luke Weller. Just talking about the new season, things we can expect from Tree Runner Park and West Bloomfield. So I want to speak on it from the perspective of maybe a group of people coming together. Maybe they all work together. Maybe they're in some type of organization, and they choose to come to Tree Runner Park. Why is Tree Runner Park a great option for these community work groups, teams, or social clubs to build camaraderie?
Ooh, okay, so I think it's a really great option because a lot of times this brings out so much teamwork in the folks that come here, because we're all overcoming really unique challenges when we're here. Like a lot of times when people come in, they've never done anything like this, and people get up in the trees, and that sometimes they're a little bit more worried than they expect to be, and you have all your friends and all your teammates there to root you on while you're climbing in the team in the trees. So I've seen people like who show up here and they're not really talking too much when they first get here, and by the end of the time they're like, come on, you can do that. Just do like one more leap. You've done the whole thing so far. So they're really supporting each other the whole way through. I've seen it with families as well. I've had people come up to me and be like, my 2 sons, they like haven't ever really been that close to each other, and they just a whole different side of them by the end of this. So it really brings out a different thing when you're working through these obstacles and these challenges together. And specifically for groups, we actually do offer team building opportunities for them. So if you reach out to us and you're like, hey, we have a group, we're looking to come overcome this challenge or learn this skill, we'll cater an opportunity for you that is hopefully going to tackle those skills and those challenges. We'll make like little activities for you on the ground and in the trees that you can work on together as a group and, kind of throw those strengths together.
Nice. It's just like being in a gym. You go to a gym with somebody that's your partner. They kind of cheer you on. They kind of give you that motivation as well. So I can see this being the same at the Tree Runner Park. And kind of bringing that together, I want to just talk about the fact that Oakland County in general, but West Bloomfield, our residents are known to be within walking distance or a short drive to somewhere that can actually have some physical activity, a park, a gym, things of that nature. In what ways has Tree Runner contributed to the outdoor recreation and healthy lifestyles amongst West Bloomfield residents?
Yeah, so it was interesting that you mentioned like gyms and stuff in your last answer, because I feel like this is kind of like a secret workout. A lot of people don't realize it when they come here. They're just like, well, yeah, it's just fun. We're just going to do a little bit of climbing in the trees. But by the time you leave, you can really feel it like in your arms and in your legs and in your core a little bit too. So like it's just so much more movement than people expect to. And we actually have a number of regular guests who come here over going to a gym for the regular workouts, which I think is so much fun. But yeah, so it's a really great way to get yourself. If you just want to climb by yourself, you can see yourself grow and like go from just like the blue ones. Those are like some of our like harder middle courses. Those ones are kind of challenging. Maybe by the end of the season, you're doing our double black, like no problem at all. So seeing that growth here, and as a family too, getting the family a little bit out of the house, on their feet, away from screens possibly, and just getting a little more active as a group together.
Oh, yeah, I like that. I would imagine that it's some type of, because it's a little bit physical and you got to get out there and do some climbing and zip lining. I imagine there's a workout associated with it as well. Luke, appreciate your time so much. Any additional information that you want to give out to local residents watching who may have some interest in Tree Runner?
Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize we were like so close with our time, but you kind of mentioned our season is open right now. So right now we're mostly open on weekends only. But once we hit June and all the way through August, we'll be open 7 days a week. So feel free to come in, climb whenever you'd like. Once we get back to the fall, we'll be open for weekends all the way through November, actually. We have special events all through the season, so we'll be doing themed glow nights. We'll be doing Halloween all the way out in October. So if you're looking for a special event, feel free to check out our website. It's treerunnerwestbloomfield.com, and you'll find a lot of information there as well.
Yes. Oh, man, and I'm looking to get out there too, Luke, so I'll be looking for you to help me out there.
For sure. Well, we're happy to welcome you whenever you'd like to come in.
Perfect, perfect. Once again, Assistant General Manager for Tree Runner West Bloomfield, Luke Weller. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
For more about what they have going on at Tree Runner Park, West Bloomfield, go to their Facebook, Tree Runner West Bloomfield, for more information. I've been your host, Kevin McIntosh. Thank you so much for joining us. CivicCenterTV.com. We are live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.